I offer my sincere prayer at the lotus feet of Sree Thakur. My hearty joy grew to everyone connected in this iconic global program, the International Virtual Utsav, on the auspicious occasion of 133rd birth anniversary of Sree Thakur Anukulchandra. My joy grew to all. It is indeed a blessed day, and we all are immensely fortunate to be part of this marvelous moment which has brought us together and which could only be visualized by none other than our beloved present Acharya Dev Sri Dada. I offer my sincere prayer at his lotus feet. And this global connection could only be possible because of the connector himself, the connector, our loved Lord, and the divine blessings of our beloved Sri Sri Dada. It is indeed an overwhelming moment for all of us. Having an opportunity in this iconic time, in this iconic program, to share a few words, a few thoughts based on my very limited understanding of Thakur's philosophy, his teaching, his guidance, is an absolute honor and privilege for me. I hope you all must be enjoying the day packed with a range of programs thoughtfully crafted by every single person involved in this process directly or indirectly since its inception. And this particular segment is allocated to talk about, to discuss, to deliberate on topics related to women and mothers. If you ask me why there is a requirement to talk about women separately, and this question is very obvious, because we are living in a time, and there is a narrative, it says, men and women are equal, that should be given same kind of teaching. Well, I could only say that in Sree Thakur Anukulchandra's philosophy, women have a special place, women have a special role to play. The core of Sree Thakur's teaching, his philosophy, is creating human beings with character who could contribute to the process of life, the process of existence and growth that could ultimately lead to building a nation. So Thakur has placed utmost importance on the role of a mother, on the role of a woman in this process of existence and growth, because Thakur says woman is the creator. She has the power to create and to grow, which man does not have. So that is why the creator has the capacity to create, to nurture, to nourish the best possible creation. That is why she has to understand how she is different, how her role, her distinctiveness is different. Sree Thakur Anukulchandra has given utmost importance to the empowerment of women. Empowerment of what? Empowerment of her distinctiveness that defines her existence. Thakur says men and women are different in their distinctiveness, which we often misunderstand. They are not equal. They could be equitable. There is no equality between men and women. There could be equitability between men and women. They could be given equal opportunity to grow and flourish and prosper. But you have to understand that they are two different entities. No two things could be equal. So those distinctiveness that define women need to be nurtured, need to be nourished, need to be empowered, need to be enriched with appropriate guidance, appropriate teaching, appropriate learning, and at the very appropriate time. And Thakur says every woman, irrespective of the age, should be respected as a mother, because motherhood is spontaneous in a woman. it comes very naturally to a woman. And that does not come only by giving birth. And we have many such examples around us, many such examples of women in the world around us who are referred to as mothers without going through the biological process of motherhood. And the Nobel laureate, Mother Teresa, is one such example. It is her motherly love, her motherly care, her motherly service, her motherly affection that define her as a mother to the world. She's represented, she's referred as a mother. So those distinctiveness are very natural. It comes very naturally to a woman. And the phase of motherhood and womanhood, which is Thakur has given utmost importance, it comes after a few stages in life. And it is a time when the woman is matured, is understanding, and is ready to take responsibility. But prior to that, there is other phases. So the phase from a girlhood to motherhood or the womanhood, there is a time, and that phase needs to be properly nurtured, properly nourished, properly enriched. And if we don't do that, then we could not expect the woman could contribute or create the best or the grow a best possible could contribute to best possible creation. And for an example, a fruit bearing plant, we do not plant a tree and expect a fruit overnight. That is a process we need to follow, and we do follow the process, starting from finding or getting a good quality seed, and then the process of germination to seedling to the entire process of watering time. We have to ensure that it is properly it gets properly proper sunshine, proper water. We have to ensure it is the weeding process and all sort of thing, so that the plant can grow to appropriately and with a healthy within a healthy environment to bear good fruit. And in my limited understanding, I think this applies to the growth of a woman. And I apply that, I think that is that the same logic applies to the growth of a woman. If that process is not enriched, not empowered with appropriate preparation, appropriate guidance, the journey of girlhood and motherhood, then we cannot expect the woman could have a meaningful contribution in the process of creation and growth. So the behavior, the conduct, the emotional and physiological aspects, the virtues of a man and woman, which are different. So Thakur's teaching is to empower men and women in that distinctiveness, for an entire development of their own existence. When you talk about entirety, the entirety means it comprises physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, all the aspects, all the things, so that the woman could grow to a balanced person, to grow as a person who could contribute meaningfully or who could lead a meaningful life. So the behaviors and conducts of a woman or a man, it's an internal process, it's an internal physiological process, which is characteristically different for both man and woman. That is why we cannot just say that men and women are equal. And those distinctiveness need to be understood from the very, very beginning, from the very early age. And that is where we misunderstand it, and we buy the narrative that men and women are equal. So we have to understand that they're not equal, but because we cannot expect the same kind of love, some kind of care and affection from our mother which we expect from our father, or we cannot expect the same kind of affection from our father which we expect from our mother. So as when we understand that, that is very easy to find out what are the distinctiveness of a woman. And Sree Thakur doesn't say that that should not be equitable. Thakur says women should be given all kind of possible opportunities that contributes to her empowerment. But what is the problem is that in today's world, we witness for last a few decades there is a revolutionary change regarding women's position in the society. We see many women now in different positions. There is no dearth of women in professionally and educationally accomplished women, and perhaps that is what we we understand that is success, or that is successful woman, but that is very fragmented way of accomplishment. There is hardly any place in the world where the woman has not marked her presence. And recently we witnessed it in the United States election, the elected Vice President, Ms. Kamala Harris, who has marked her position to marked her way to the White House, which is a historic moment. No woman had ever done that. Should we say that that is an accomplished woman? Well, that is one part of accomplishment, and we have to see what are the other parts of accomplishment. Her role as a mother, her role as a wife, and so on. So we notice in our daily life, in the world around, many such accomplishments where the women are breaking the glass ceilings and going and marking their place. But these are fragmented accomplishment. This is not the overall empowerment or accomplishment. Because at the same time, we see there are many broken relationships, many broken families, many broken houses, people with mentally, emotionally imbalance, unstable, mental health problems. Then if that is accomplishment, if that is achievement of women, financially and educationally accomplished, then why that should positively contribute to the in the formation of nation, in the process of building family or leading a life. But we don't see that. That is a reverse process in that way. So there we have to reflect what went wrong, where our investment went wrong, because we invested in creating good professionals, we invested in creating good students, we invested in women's education and to make them or empower them in a particular way, because that is where probably we see the tangible outcomes. And we have never invested, and what we have invested in, we get that around us. We have never invested perhaps to creating a human being which is who is accomplished, who is empowered, who is balanced from all aspects. And Thakur, that doesn't mean that Thakur doesn't say that women should not be educated, or people might say, oh, that is a very orthodox thought, that women should not be educated, or women should not be play the roles they are playing. I would say no. Sree Thakur Anukulchandra has given utmost importance to women's education, but at the same time Thakur says how important, how advanced your education might be, but your individual distinctiveness need to be intact. So there we went wrong, because no institutions teach us the value of distinctiveness. The institutions do not teach us to identify what are the distinctiveness. Institution teaches competition, it does not teach us compassion. That is what lacking. So that is what the reflection we see around. In today's world, we see youth particularly are highly qualified, educationally very well established, or having good degrees, but mentally disturbed. emotionally imbalanced, physically unhealthy, and psychologically disturbed, and perhaps spiritually perhaps nowhere. Can we expect those youth can contribute in the process of living a balanced life? The answer is no. So we have to understand where things could be improved. So that is where we need a teacher, a guru, a guide, a mentor who could show us the path, who could guide us in this process to identify our distinctiveness and how to enrich or empower, how to nourish those distinctiveness. Because all these things happening around us it's a process, is a result of our complexities, because we are hijacked by the complexities that control our process of life and growth. Unless until we control the complexities, then we could not have the balanced life. We could not, leap or go to the womanhood or motherhood and have the ability to create or grow the best possible creation. So those complexities need to be channelized appropriately, and it could only be channelized when we have an ideal in our life who could teach us, who could show us the path, and who could guide us at the entire way. So that is where Sree Thakur Anukulchandra says there needs to be a constancy, there needs to be a process to follow that path to becoming a good human being, becoming a balanced human being. The moment we have that entity to control the imbalance factor, the imbalance complexes in our life, then only we'll be able to be a balanced person. So in today's world, we see many times we listen that that there are cause and effect principles. That said, every action directs to the result. And Sree Thakur Anukulchandra had said it 112 years before, that in his only handwritten book, that doing is the mother of getting. If we want to get something, we have to understand the process and do that exactly. And expecting a result without doing is foolishness. So we have to follow the process. So every desired result comes with the process of continuity, because there is no dearth of information around the world. If you just go to Google and just type it, how to lead a balanced life, or how to be a accomplished woman or whatever, you get thousands of things. It's much more than what you can absorb. But then there is no dearth of information. Everybody knows that. Knowing and doing, there is a gap. We know everything, but we don't do that. And we don't do that because there is no process of doing. Nobody is there to tell us. For everything, we have to do it. We can sit in a spiritual gathering and listen for hours and hours, and we enjoy wow, that is so much enriching talk. But can we just go back and to our home and expect that it will be implemented in our life without doing? No, we cannot expect that. That is where Sree Thakur Anukulchandra says we have to do it, we have to follow a certain process. And that process comes when we have a living ideal, when we have a mentor in our life. So for everything, we need a teacher, we need a syllabus, and that we have to follow properly. Because even if we are going to school, we need to follow the syllabus. We listen to the teacher as the teacher says. And unless until we do that, we cannot write the exam or we cannot pass the paper. And Thakur says, if you do not read, no university will give you the certificate. So when we understand what we are doing and how we are doing and what are the process of doing, then only you would be able to produce, we will be able to give back what is expected from us. So coming to the end part of my deliberation. We need to have an ideal in our life. And Sree Thakur says, you might, perform thousands of worship, thousand acts of worship, thousands of time of repetition of holy name. But as long as you are not attached to your desired one or desire or the ideal in such a way that he becomes the first of our interest in all aspects, then we cannot expect success in life, success of becoming a good woman in life. So the process needs to be strong, needs to be unbroken, and the process of unbroken attachment, unbroken commitment comes when we surrender ourselves completely and follow our ideal the way he wants us to do. When we serve our ideal, our master, our guide the way he wants, then only we will be able to accomplish the life he wants us to live. And if when we start following him, we could only do that what he wants us to do. We cannot do anything wrong. We cannot go anywhere wrong, because we are living in a time that is a lot of things are available, and that is a very possibility to get distracted, and that is what happening around. So when we bring our children, when we put our children, or whether it's daughter or son or girls and boys, in that process of growth, in the process of living or having that attachment with the ideal, then only we could be able to connect and channelize their complexities, their complexes appropriately, that could lead them to have a beautiful life, to have a balanced life, to have a meaningful life. So there where I come to an end to I would like to conclude here, and we have to just see if we have the ideal in our life, where we have placed him, whether he is center of everything we are doing, or he is somewhere corner or somewhere side of a life. If we have placed him somewhere in the corner or side, we have to bring him at the center to make our life the way he wants us to live. And once we placed him in the center, we don't have to look for anything else. We could only expect an upward growth in our life. That is where an woman's contribution and a woman's accomplishment would be accomplished in true sense. Joy Guru.